So, as I'm sure we have all seen, Devin Haney made quite the statement on the weekend. He scored a complete 12-round shutout over Regis Prograis. Really left no doubt. There's no controversy. Devin Haney won, and he won big. He made Regis Prograis look basically useless. And he did so using great technique, great tactics, amazing athleticism, and just completely shut out Regis Prograis, who on his day is a formidable fighter. Many people, including myself, were picking Devin Haney, but I don't think anyone really predicted that he'd make it look that easy, because that's what it was. He made easy work of Regis Prograis. But I'm not necessarily going to focus on the ins and outs of that fight in particular. I'm going to focus on an important underlying message, which I feel has been exemplified by Devin Haney's last fight against Regis Prograis, but also his fight before that against Vasily Lomachenko, which took place in May. And just kind of go on a tangent, this comes from something I've been hearing for a number of months now, for a long while actually, surrounding the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight, which is penciled in for February next year, thankfully, and hopefully it actually goes ahead. And what that kind of narrative is that Tyson Fury is just simply too big for Alexander Usyk, and Alexander Usyk doesn't stand a chance. He's too small. He's coming up from cruiserweight. He was a middleweight as an amateur. Blah blah blah. Tyson Fury is just going to be too big, too strong, like Carl Froch. He's going to overwhelm him, and he's just going to steamroll the smaller man in Alexander Usyk. And now a lot of people hold this view. Yes, a lot of them are Tyson Fury fanboys who are just the most despicable human beings, the most despicable creatures in boxing, because they're so sycophantic about a man who really has nothing but contempt for them and really boxing as a whole. But even people with more informed opinions seem to hold this view that Tyson Fury is just simply too big. And look, that's their opinions. I'm not going to tell people what to think. All I'm going to do is maybe chuck some curveballs, chuck out some things that maybe get the gears going in your head and make you consider other points of the argument. Because ultimately, we're talking about boxing, we're talking about predictions in the lead up to a fight. We want to consider all factors and make an educated guess. That's what a prediction is, by considering all facets. And I think it's very short-sighted because we've seen so many examples where fighters who are smaller than their opponents, they have a size disadvantage, quote unquote, they manage to win and win in big fashion. And we've seen that, or I don't want to say we've seen that, but we've seen something close in Devin Haney's last fights. Because if you look at Regis Prograis' performance against Devin Haney, there in no way, shape or form can you make the argument that he did better than Vasyl Lomachenko. You just can't argue that. If you think that Regis Prograis did a better job against Haney than Lomachenko did, like, you're in need of some help. I'll say that much. Vasyl Lomachenko did leaps and bounds better than Regis Prograis against Devin Haney. He took Haney to the wire. Okay, many people think that Lomachenko actually deserved to win against Haney. I personally don't. I picked Haney to win, and I thought he did win legitimately. But many people, dare I say the majority of people, felt like Lomachenko won. And regardless of whether you think he won or not, he stuck it on Haney at times. There were times where he made it extremely rough for Haney, and it looked like Haney might even get stopped. And now Lomachenko did that. And he's smaller than Haney, considerably smaller than Haney. But he's also smaller than Prograis. So where's this size disadvantage? See what I mean? It's not as simple as, oh, this guy's the smaller guy, he's at this massive disadvantage. No, he might be at a disadvantage in some respects by being the smaller man with the smaller frame and the smaller body mass. However, a lot of the time, these guys who are on the smaller side, but they understand that they're on the smaller side and they cater their style around it, they're typically more agile. They have greater dexterity, greater reflexes, usually greater work rate. They have better efficiency. So they're quicker a lot of the times, more accurate, more coordinated sometimes. And so all of a sudden, you start to see, oh, maybe it's not as simple as bigger is better. Maybe if you're in a guy who has a size disadvantage, but he understands what advantages he does have over a bigger guy, it muddies the waters a little bit. It makes things a bit more complex. But people don't seem to extrapolate this and apply this to the potential Tyson Fury-Alexander Usyk fight. And now, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. But as I say, I think it's very short-sighted that people say, Tyson Fury bigger, he wins. Well, Tyson Fury, out of his own mouth, has admitted that Steve Cunningham was his hardest opponent in his entire career. Isn't Steve Cunningham also one of his smallest opponents he's ever fought in his career? And Tyson Fury was down heavy. He was taken to the wire in that fight, and he had to claw his way back in and secure a great knockout. He did. But it doesn't take away from the fact that he was flat on his back at one point. And it was, by his own admission, his hardest fight. But Alexander Usyk, is this going to be a complete walkover job for Tyson Fury? Just going to get steamrolled? I don't see that. And now, Tyson Fury, if he beats Alexander Usyk, fair and square, no funny business, he goes out there and he does a job on Alexander Usyk legitimately, I'll give him the full credit he deserves. Because you better understand that going into this fight, everything is on the line. This is high stakes boxing, this Fury Alexander Usyk fight. So whoever wins, if they win fair and square, they get full credit. However, when we're talking about predictions, when we're talking about the dynamics at play in this fight, I don't think it's as simple as Tyson Fury's bigger, therefore he's just going to have his way, because there are advantages. Yeah, he might have the size advantage ostensibly, but there are going to be advantages that Alexander Usyk has over him. Don't for a second think that Alexander Usyk is going to be, or Tyson Fury is going to be more coordinated or have greater dexterity, greater reflexes than Alexander Usyk, greater speed. I just don't see that happening, people. I just don't see it happening. That's just my opinion, however. Leave yours below. Do you, like me, think that there's more to matchups than size? The style plays a role. The other qualities, like the speed, the balance, the dexterity, the reflexes, all that kind of stuff. I think that plays a role. I think Devin Haney's past two fights have shown that, whereby the smaller man in Lomachenko has had a lot of success against Haney himself, but also against Regis Prograis, who's supposed to be the natural 140-pounder, the bigger guy, the stronger guy who punches harder. Because Regis Prograis, yeah, he probably punches harder than Lomachenko, but Lomachenko understands how to use his style, use his lack of size as an advantage, becoming a smaller target who moves around more, who's more well-coordinated, more accurate. So, yeah, just some food for thought. As I say, this is just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not about fanboyism. It's not about allegiance to a fighter. It's about considering all the variables, having a scientific approach, an educated approach to presenting a prediction. So, we've got plenty of months left, though. Still got some time left until this Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight. But yeah, as I say, food for thought. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll get back to you. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video.